People who make their living off the land understand how vulnerable we all are and that sometimes we all need help. That's why the spirit of giving is so strong amongst farmers. That's why today we're on a remarkable mission. You could say we're ripe for revival.
Let's go, we're late.
Come on, let me take you where the food comes from. Will Cornegay, it's revival time in North Carolina. You've got a remarkable story. You're not really from a farming background directly yourself, personally, but farming is your life and it's become your life. You started out in the sweet potato business like so many people do here. You've diversified so much. You and your sister Laura, several years ago, recognized how much unused produce we had every year, how much food was going to waste. You started a company called Glean. And what you were doing is you were taking all of this post-harvest stuff that wouldn't have been suitable as far as a grocery store was concerned. They just said, well, that's too ugly, or that's too small, or that's too whatever. Y'all were finding ways to put it back to work, feeding people.
You know, it's ironic that this bench or this porch we're sitting on right now is really where this vision for Ripe Revival began.
This place, this little cabin out in the middle of the lovely North Carolina countryside, this was a very special spot for you and some of your friends. A lot of dreams were dreamed here, but every bit of it in this case has led to some very, very positive action. So now I believe they can probably see the sign right over our head that says McDaniel Road. I'm not sure how that got there, and it's probably better left unsaid, but those are the McDaniels who were your childhood friends.
And we said one day we're gonna start a produce company together, and we're gonna farm this land. And here we are almost 18 years later, and we're doing just that right here on this farm and much further beyond that. The McDaniels are part of a 7th generation family farm.
Right.
I was just sucked into that. I wanted to spend every moment outside the classroom out in this neck of the woods, driving the truck, riding around farms, looking at the crops, and I said, this is the life I want to live. We just saw the massive amounts of waste and excess that were occurring in one centralized location, and interactions with dozens, if not hundreds of farmers across the country over the years made us realize that this is a widespread problem. And so being able to take our experience and our network of farmers and food industry professionals and turn that into something that could create change. And we started a company called Glean, which was a really fun first venture at a consumer packaged goods company in the food space. And had a lot of fun and some success with that business.
Worked out very well. I believe you eventually sold it and moved on to the next step.
Exited Glean and branched out to start Ripe Revival, which originally was founded to be a company that actually made gummies, the first ever upcycled protein gummy to take farmers' produce and make gummies out of them. I bought a building in December of 2019, spent 3 months upfitting that building myself, staffed up. The week we were supposed to start production, COVID-19 shut down the state. Wow. I became a business that was instantly dead in the water, and I started looking around. I said, how am I gonna survive this? And I started looking around. There's so many farmers who lost all their restaurant business, meat producers, dairy farmers, food companies, and I said, well, I'm in the same boat. Let me try and lead a path to some kind of way of survival for everybody. So I actually had this idea to start Ripe Revival Market, which is a food delivery service. So I started consolidating all these food products and built a website in 3 days, launched it, and we had over 500 members within the first 2 weeks. Our members are supporting farmers, our farmers are supporting members, and we became the facilitator. We started delivering boxes from Chapel Hill to Wilmington. We're still doing that today. It was the heart and soul of Ripe Revival for over a year. And during that time, when the Farm to Families Food Box program came up, by a USDA funded program to serve families that were fighting food insecurity, we were fortunate to be able to step in and help with some contracts for that to pack produce boxes.
Because you were already in the lane, it's literally what you were already doing.
We want to be a facilitator, so every part of our business is built around making an impact from the farm to the consumer and beyond. We found a special niche in how to bridge that gap between farm excess and food access. So we have a farm. We work with a lot of farm partners like Hickory Meadows Organics and our friends, the McDaniels and the Watsons, where we broker and sell produce commercially help them utilize their excess. You know, what's different about us than a lot of produce companies is 100% utilization. We buy the entire crop.
When you say you'll buy their whole crop, now that's a different perspective than most farmers, and most farmers are not getting that kind of deal.
The ugly truth is that across the country, on average, 40% of farmers' crops are lost or left in the field every year. And that could be odd shape, size, you know, cosmetic defects, simply things that are external. There's nothing wrong with that fruit or vegetable. And so our goal at Ripe Revival is to provide outlets for 100% of their crops. And so we go in and say, hey, if you work with Ripe Revival, you know, through each of our business entities, we're going to take your crop. Your yields are going to be higher. Your bottom line is going to be higher. And you're going to be more profitable because we're going to buy the stuff that nobody wants. And while a lot of times you make the tough decision to leave it in the field because you can't afford to pick it up, we want you to pick it up, and we're going to pay you for it, and we're going to pay you fair market value. And so through the Farm to Families Food Box program, we packed over 50,000 boxes of produce in a 10-week period.
Wow.
And I work with 300 plus volunteers a week and 50 plus nonprofits. At my building, packing produce and distributing, they serve the community. We facilitated the produce and packed the boxes. And I just started to see the massive need that exists in the communities, not only for food, 1 in 8 being food insecure,
Wow.
1 in 5 in Nash County where we are. But these nonprofits are really good at serving the community, but they don't have resources or don't have access to efficient, affordable resources.
Sure.
And so our goal with the mobile market program is to provide fresh, local, and affordable access to nutritious foods regardless of anyone's budget. And
now this mobile market is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bus.
we want to go to where the food comes from and take it to where it's needed. And I think telling a story along the way. And so I think these buses give us a great opportunity to do that. And, you know, we've worked with a lot of food banks who still have the challenges of getting food into areas where they don't have food pantries or, you know, brick and mortar locations. And in our time and working with them, you know, really opened my eyes to the need to take food to the people. And so had a vision to take a bus, convert it into a grocery store, and now we've done that with one bus, and we've got 3 other buses that we've purchased that are currently being upfit. So we'll have 4 buses on the road by the end of the year. That's a pay-what-you-can grocery store on wheels.
Wow.
That goes to the communities.
That's amazing. So at the same time that you're helping people, you're also helping preserve something that's equally as important as their tummy, which is their dignity. But what I love about that model is if you don't have a nickel in your pocket, you can still come on that bus and get some food. And if you've got a few cents in your pocket and you feel like you can contribute to the effort, then you have the opportunity to do so. Not only that, you're bringing farm fresh produce literally right to where they live.
That's right.
Even if I am not in need, I'm going to be looking for that bus because I know that's going to be better than anything I'm going to find anywhere else.
Yep, and it's got fruits and vegetables, meat, dairy, eggs, all kinds of things. And I would say, on average, 85 to 90% of it was grown within an hour or 2 hours drive of where that bus is.
We're 7th generation farmers, and this particular field we're in is an organic field. We started Hickory Meadows Organics in 2007 with sweet potatoes and tobacco, and since then we've transitioned into more produce-oriented operation. Have butternut squash, kabocha squash, acorn, and cabbage.
So we've always tried to give back to the community, and but having the know-how to get it to the people in need is, I guess, where we fell short. So Will stepped in, and we've with his help we've been able to serve hundreds and hundreds of people, and makes us feel good that knowing that what we would normally be leaving in the field, we're able to get it to people in need and helping those people who are less fortunate.
And Will does a great job of being sure that he moves all the excess produce,
Because it
maybe scarred or damaged, but still very edible and tasty.
it's disheartening at the end of the year when you get done with the field and you see everything that's left, whether it be sweet potatoes or squash or cabbage or something like that. You see everything that you've put your money in, you put your time in, and you see it's just left because the consumer doesn't like it. It doesn't look good to the consumer when it's perfectly fine. So it makes us feel good, makes us, we know that we're helping people. when we can pick up everything and there's an outlet for it. It costs just as much to grow an ugly squash as it does a pretty squash. And it's like Billy said earlier, lots of times it is just, weather factors, year to year is different. So over the past several years, we've moved over 8 million pounds of produce that would normally have gone to waste. And that's helped us being able to move all of our product that would normally go to waste. And then, being able just to help people in need.
We loaded up the bus at the farm. Now we are in Rocky Mount, North Carolina at the St. Mark AME Church. We're gonna get some of this food where it needs to be going.
So today we're at St. Mark AME Church in Rocky Mount, and we partner with churches all over Eastern North Carolina and Northeastern North Carolina and community organizations to be a host site. And so St. Mark has been a host site today for the mobile market. So they know their own community, they reach out to their own community and promote the event to serve their own community. That's the goal, really. And so we get to just bring the infrastructure for them to have opportunities to serve their own. And so it's been really great to see and meet new people from this church. This market operates on a pay-what-you-can scale, so everyone has the opportunity to purchase some kind of healthy food and take it home and nourish their family, regardless of their budget, right? And so it's accessible in that way. It's also accessible because it comes to you. And then we really believe that it's not just about making it accessible and giving you the food, but having the knowledge of what to do with it after, and being empowered to cook and provide for your own family, and maybe try something in a different way too. So a cabbage on that bus does no good if no one knows how to prepare that cabbage. And so every time the mobile market comes, there's a cooking cart that rolls off and has some kind of setup of a recipe or a demonstration.
By the end of the year, we'll have all 4 buses on the road. Each bus will do 20 stops a week, and we'll be serving millions of pounds of produce to 18 communities across Eastern North Carolina. But the goal certainly is we have identified 18 counties in the northeastern part of North Carolina, and we're headed that way, taking the food where the people are.
Christy Banks, look at all of this. It's like a grocery store came where you are. You may be the director of health and wellness here at the church, but today you're a customer.
All right.
Let's go
awesome.
shopping. You ready?
You.
All right, let's go.
Amen.
Let's see what we got here. Look at this.
Ooh, and from being down south, the hoop cheese.
Hoop cheese is where it's at, isn't it? That's what I'm talking
To put
about.
the eggs,
That's what
the
I'm
eggs,
talking about.
Yes, yes.
It's some nice brown eggs.
Exactly.
We getting some eggs?
Yes.
Okay, we're getting some eggs. Look at these farm fresh, free roaming North Carolina natural choice
wow.
eggs.
Awesome.
That ain't just any old
I
industrial
know,
chicken egg.
locally grown.
They're working. They're
Yes.
working. Them chickens working overtime
Exactly.
for you.
Give me the hoop cheese. Give me the cheese.
Some cheese. Oh,
Yes.
you're getting the cheese too. All right. Here we go.
Wow.
Oh,
May I have some watermelon, please?
some watermelon.
Yes. I also take cucumbers will be good. I also take
How many?
3 will be fine. Thank you so much.
Here,
Some
here,
onions before we slide on down.
Oh, okay. Bag of onions. Bag of onion coming
Thank
up.
you.
You're gonna need another bag, Christy.
I am. I sure am.
You passing these?
Excuse me for one moment. I need to grab another cucumber, if it's okay.
One more cucumber.
Yes.
One more cucumber.
And also one more tomato.
One
I
more
love
tomato.
to do cucumber.
Well,
and
if you're getting a fresh tomato, it's time to get a tomato, isn't it?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
yes.
right.
I love it. Also, the broccoli. Can we have some broccoli?
Little
please?
broccoli here.
Yes, so I can do a little broccoli salad.
One gonna be enough.
Just one is enough.
All right,
Okay.
depending on what you're making.
Exactly.
All right.
You have learned
Three.
well.
if I don't know something about this stuff by now, after all my years out in the field with it, if I don't know how to pick it out, I ain't learned nothing at work. And one green cabbage that we don't even have room in the bag for.
I know
and
that's
I think we have made it to
Yes, we
the checkout
have.
counter. Now look what
Yes.
we have picked up here.
Awesome.
Gotta
Thank
get it
you
up here
so
we can
much.
Pay something for it. Look at
Yes.
this. All right. All of this stuff, what do you think that would come to in the supermarket?
Oh, wow. It normally costs me $60 at the grocery store.
Well, let's settle up and get going.
All right.
Can I come to your house for dinner?
Sure,
Let's go.
sure.
I'll even carry some stuff.
Vegetables and fruit.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Y'all have a
Thank you,
wonderful,
folks.
blessed day.
Been a pleasure shopping here.
Thank you so much.
You wonder what we talk about when we're doing things like this.
Right, right.
Things like this. What's good to eat around here?
This
What do
is,
you got?
man, the best food, best barbecue you ever had.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what
Appreciate
I'm talking
you.
about.
Hey, thanks, Don.
Reverend Robert Yarborough, we're in a sacred place. We're in the sanctuary of St. Mark AME Church, well over 100 years old.
That's right.
This building itself has been here since the 50s. You have seen in your ministry the face of need and the
Yeah.
face of hunger change.
Right.
There's so much need. How bad is the need in your population, in your church family?
We had penned a mission statement that said we want to make an Anvil type impact, indelible impact upon the lives and the livelihood of those that are in Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson County. Find a way to be able to do that through their mind, body, and their soul. And what we found is that that is all connected. God asks us to be prosperous, and not only in our pockets, not only in our money, but also in our bodies. So as we've been doing our Wellness Wednesdays, this has been showing us that indeed there is a connection between your health and what you're actually eating.
People would never guess that a pretty little town like Rocky Mount, North Carolina would be a place where people would have difficulty getting access to fresh, nutritious food.
Yeah, it was surprising to us as well. And we find that a lot of ministries are reaching outside of the United States. But if they just look down the street and around the corner and even across the street, they'll find that those hungry mouths are right there in our very own community. So we've been doing that in any way we can through what we call that Manna Oasis ministry, to find a way within a food desert to make it an oasis, to be able to get people that food. So they don't have to choose between medicine or food, or clothes to go back to school or food. It should be a both and we should be able to help them in supporting through this particular partnership with Right Revival. It's made it really outstanding.
The Ripe for Revival program alone hopes to be making 80 stops a week with those buses by the end of the year, distributing millions of pounds of food, and doing so in a manner where it's not just a handout.
That's right.
Those who have nothing are free to come take what they need. Those who have something can share, and share a piece of their dignity, and walk out of that bus with their heads held high and know that they were contributing as well.
To whom much is given, much is required. This is gleaming really is a biblical concept. And when we began to see that, as I walked through the bus myself, somebody had $80 worth of groceries, and they were able to pay just $40, while somebody right behind them came in and had $27 worth of groceries and gave $127. That's what this is about. It's to whom much is given, much is required. And if we can begin to share in that way, as I think about the network of African Methodist Episcopal churches, through our cluster here in Nash, Edgecombe, and Wilson County, we definitely want to be vested in making sure that we let this be exposed in our community, so that we can let folks know how they can have healthy outcomes, which will lead to less medicine and less doctor visits and longer life.
All
and
the
all
things
other
that we
come
already
along
know.
with it. Yeah, one of the things we've really been trying to share is a great principle is about how connected we are. And it took a pandemic and social upheaval and political unrest to get us there. But now we understand truly that we are connected. And when we begin to help each other, that's how we're going to be able to overcome, particularly many of the disparities that we see.
And on a morning like this, when we see that bus parked outside this church,
what a blessing.
knowing your church family and this community can come get what they need,
That's right.
pay what they can, and by the time they get to church Sunday morning,
Wow.
you know they're going to be well fed.
Their
and it's
mind
gonna
will be
have
stayed
healthy-
on Jesus. I love it. Hey, thanks, Chip. I appreciate you guys coming through. We're excited about this initiative, and we can't wait to see it grow and prosper as the Lord has put his vision on it.
Reverend, I'll give you an amen on that one.
Amen. God bless you.
God bless you.
Indeed. Thank you, sir.